Well, of course, climate change has a very serious social, economic, environmental impact, particularly to indigenous peoples. And of course, for a number of years now, climate change has managed, one, to reverse and destroy what has been built over time. Number two, it is today is a main inducer of conflict over land and natural resources. And the third is contributing or pushing a large population into extreme poverty.
Because of the changing temperatures, rainfall patterns changing, precipitation changing. So the indigenous community especially, they are really not aware, not really know what is going on, because they could not follow their traditional knowledge that they used to follow. But they think like maybe it is our bad karma or something we did wrong. So they are blaming themselves, which is not true.
Trabajamos con la colaboración de las varias entidades de agendas de derechos humanos, agendas.
The problem of climate change is not only in the environment. For us, for the indigenous people, this have a big impact in our culture, because if we don't have all these plants, all these fish, all these animals in our environment, we don't know how to pass the information about this to others, to the children, to the youth in my communities. Policies are very high, and we say we have been guardians this biodiversity in our lands and territories, and we have some response to the climate change in our communities. So now we can have this dialogue. We can bring this knowledge from the bottom up and have a very enrichment dialogue, so the state can incorporate our knowledge, our way of life, into new politics, into new action that will face, that can face climate change.
Different research and articles already indicated around the world that remaining 80% of the remaining natural resources are under the territories of indigenous communities. So and that need to be acknowledged here in the climate actions, here in the COP, because our knowledge system is very, very important for reserving, for protecting, for conservation of whole remaining forests and natural resources, ecosystem, biodiversity, but it's having a very bad impact. So indigenous people in the forefront of climate change, despite their contribution for the climate change resilience, but yet indigenous people are not in the mainstream of the dialogue discussions.
Amazonian indigenous territories, recognizing and responding to risks from forests.
So within the Indigenous Peoples Caucus, I would say as a youth, Indigenous youth in this space, we are most definitely respected. We are included in negotiation conversations, and we're treated as if we're just part of the family. In the context of the greater UN space, I would probably say not really. As many people know, and some people are still learning, like we as Indigenous people see ourselves as sovereign within our respective nations, and the UN is not a space that recognizes our sovereignty. We don't have a seat at the table as nations. So I would say from what I gathered, a lot of Indigenous negotiators or Indigenous delegates who are trying to lobby the negotiators from different member states, there's a lot of nuance that is held, and a lot of patience expected. Fortunately, I feel like today there was some headway though.